All right, guys, we'll go ahead and take questions for Skip. Jacob.
Tracy, again, the starting pitching was fantastic today. Just what did you see from Eric, and kind of what kind of tone does this set for, the rest of the season when you can get three guys to go out in opening weekend and just pretty much dominate?
Well, he was able to – he had his off-speed stuff working today, but just throwing strikes and competing aggressively in the zone. But like I said the other day, he's been pretty good in the inter squads up to this point. So he followed it up with a very solid performance. And, that early in the season, to get through 5 innings or whatever, give yourself a chance to win. He did an excellent job of that.
Jeff.
When you were talking about kind of the blueprint of what you thought this team was going to be, this almost looked exactly like what you were talking about. I know you'd like to see some more hitting, but I don't know how it could have looked much better or much more alike what you thought you were going to see.
Yeah, from a pitching standpoint and the defense, that we had a couple funky plays in there today, but I thought, all in all, on the weekend, you pitch the baseball like that. That was a tough one on Friday, but still, outside of that one inning, I would say pretty much all the innings this weekend, we were at the top of the food chain there on the pitching and defense side of it. And as far as the hitting goes, we know some of those guys are going to hit, and that stuff kind of comes and goes. And Nate Baez is a good hitter, so we're not too worried about that, as is, some of the other guys that just probably maybe pressing a little bit opening weekend. But if you're going to be playing catch up a little bit, I'd much rather be on the offensive side of it. So the pitching and the defense definitely carried us this weekend.
Kevin.
Coach, all 3 runs today coming with 2 strikes, 2 outs with both Joe and Aubrey. What are you guys teaching in terms of philosophy when down in the count?
Yeah, you got to put, you try your best to move the baseball, put the ball in play. If you put the ball in play, you got to make the defense work. And those guys did a good job of cutting down on the swing a little bit and trying to move the ball. And I think both those were 2 out, the 2 out RBI, or 3 2 out RBI. So we were fortunate today. I thought we left a couple guys out there in some situations, in some situational hitting opportunities where we did advance guys that we're going to have to do a better job on. But first weekend, a lot of new guys, and so I think we'll be better next weekend.
Jacob.
Some optimism there, Scott.
I like that optimism.
What kind of impact do you think Sam Ferry has had, especially just this first weekend back, and to have the pitching be so solid? What do you think he brings to the table?
Well, a lot of new guys, and and even on that staff, and with a lot of young guys that some of them didn't get in this weekend. But he's a steady presence. The guy's played. He's a good player. From our perspective, he's like an assistant coach on the team, and both he and Chima. I'd give him credit as well for last night. But to have those 2 guys behind the plate is a luxury for us, because they can help not only receiving the baseball and things like that, but the way that they just interact and calm that pitcher and give them confidence out there. So it was good to have him back. We've been trying, nursing him a little bit in the off season, because as he had the surgery last year, and bringing him back, he missed a lot of developmental time, not only with the knee, but also certainly the COVID situation we're in. So I think he did a fantastic job of managing the game, managing the pitching staff for not playing a lot of baseball in the last, couple of years.
Jacob.
For Cam to come back in and get outs the way he did after having a rough night on Friday, what does that do for a young guy's mentality and just kind of being able to move on from a tough game?
Yeah, that'd be anybody's mentality. You struggle like that, and those guys are competitive. They're all about the team. There's nobody that felt worse after Friday than Cam, because he didn't want to let his teammates down, obviously. So But in that role, if you're going to pitch high leverage innings, you got to have a short memory and be ready to take the baseball again and go out and be aggressive. And there was no hesitation on our part, no hesitation on his part to get back out there and, reframe that inning of Friday night. So that was good to get him out there. I thought he did a great job today.
Jeff.
When you sent Boyd out there, was that kind of the plan to just have him pitch to a few people there, or what was kind of the thinking of taking him out that quick?
Well, we're doing some things. We're managing some things with him on the injury piece of it. So we're just trying to be careful with him. So yeah, the plan was to give him an inning today and keep him around 15 to 20 pitches. I think he threw 14. So that was the rationale behind that.
Jacob.
Is there kind of a timetable on, what's going on with Boyd and you don't know anything yet?
No, we don't know enough yet. We're still trying to determine, exactly kind of what's going on, but probably more info to follow when we have more information.
Jacob.
Last night we kind of talked about the impact of being able to have Lappie 9 and Swift 1. And again, today it looked like it kind of paid off a little bit. What is it that you like about the way that this lineup was constructed, and why did you choose to go back to it after where it went last night?
Well, I like, you put those speed guys all kind of back to back. And, the thought on that obviously is guys that maybe struggled a little bit at 3 and 4 this weekend aren't going to struggle there the entire season. And all those guys can create difficulties on the defense when they're on the bases, but they can also score on a ball in the gap, which we think we're going to get. We've talked about this numerous times on these things, that I still think we're going to score runs, albeit probably going to be different than we had it, than we did it last year with a bunch of home runs. We're still going to have guys that are going to pop one out, but I think it's more going to be on the execution on the bases, the good situational hitting, and going to have to stick in, like every team, got to stick in the timely hit.
How do you kind of go about, re-preaching the situational hitting? Like, what things do you think you need to see more of after one full weekend of watching the hitters go?
Advancing runners, we've struggled a little bit this weekend. Runner at third base, less than 2 outs. We just got to relax and, trust that and make that happen. But, quite honestly, we didn't have a ton of opportunities, a ton of things to really look at either from an offensive standpoint, because we didn't really have a lot of base runners. But that's just something as we progress, we just got to make sure. And we've done a really, really good job up to this point of buying into, we're a different team offensively, but we can still be a very good team offensively, but it takes everybody buying in and doing their job on the situational hitting components of the game.
Thanks, Skip.
All right. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Jamie would be proud.
Jamie told me I'm all alone. I got a class.
Oh, we got Graham Osmond here. First career save. Take questions. Jacob.
Graham, just the pitching staff in general was really great this weekend, and today for you guys to be able to hold Sacramento State to just 1 hit. What's kind of the mentality that you guys are operating with, and kind of what went today's performance?
So our whole deal is just trying to throw as many strikes as possible. The guys who are more consistent with those strikes and being able to throw all of their pitches in there are getting opportunities that the team needs to succeed. And our deal is just kind of ride those guys until someone else is needed.
Jeff.
Yeah, hi, sorry. Again, just sort of thinking about what happened this entire weekend, kind of the projection on this team was that it was going to be all about pitching, and it certainly was. What does it feel just to be part of that staff and come out and have 3 consecutive games like this?
It feels amazing. We definitely are focusing on trying to have the pitchers carry this team, just because we don't have the sticks that we did last year. But being part of the staff is just an amazing experience. All the guys are great, and none of us are being selfish and complaining when we're not going in. And we're all just being really supportive of each other.
Jacob.
Just as a guy who doesn't have a ton of college pitching experience, what kind of impact has Sam Ferry had for you, and just how much does he help you out there?
Oh, he's great. Having him behind the plate gives me so much confidence. He's such a great defensive catcher, and I know that if I make a mistake and miss a spot or maybe spike a ball sometimes, I know there will be very little damage done. And I've always been someone to try to keep the ball low in the zone, and spiking the ball is kind of part of that. So having a catcher like Sam is really important.
Kevin.
Just on a basic note, Graham, what was working for you today in terms of pitches?
I kind of stuck with my fastball because they were having a hard time seeing it. And they weren't really getting on time with it. A couple guys got pretty solid contact on it, but for the most part, it was just pretty consistently just having a hard time seeing it.
Jacob.
What did it feel like to get the first career save out of the way for you?
It's a big experience. I went into the game not expecting to go 2 1/3 innings, and it was a big surprise, but a pleasant one. And I think I'm ready to keep doing and staying in that position for the team if I need it.
Kevin.
Kind of off that same note, are you comfortable coming in for multiple inning saves?
Yeah, I'm super comfortable with doing anything that's needed of me. I don't have a problem with throwing to one batter or throwing to 5 or 6 or multiple innings. It's something that I'm super comfortable with and will never have a problem doing.
Thanks, Graham. All right, guys, we got Joe Lappie here again. Questions? Kevin.
Joe, your RBI or your both your or your the hit where you knocked in the runs today came on 2 strikes, 2 outs. Are you calling on any sort of experience there? Are you sitting on any sort of pitches, reacting fastball, or what's your mindset there?
No, what they teach us to do at Arizona State is to look hard away and react in. And I saw during the at-bat that the guy was pumping the fastest he's ever thrown in that game. I saw like a couple 95s. And honestly, I was a little late on the fastball. So I completely sold out to just a middle of the way approach, protecting the outer half of the plate. And he ended up going back to that slider, left it up a little bit, and I was able to keep my barrel long enough in the zone to get it down the line and score the 2 runs.
Jacob.
Joe, for you to hit in the 9 hole, what does that do for the lineup? Because it turns over from you to Swift. So what kind of benefit do you think that gives the team?
Yeah, obviously it puts a ton of speed at the top of the order with me and then Swifty and McLean right after. If I'm able to get on base or even Swifty at any time, we got a great hitter in Sean, great hitter in Baez right after, and it's going to help us score a lot of runs in the long run.
Jacob.
Kind of just when you look back on this whole series, what were your takeaways for the offense as a whole in terms of how aggressive you guys were? And do you feel like you guys did a good job with that? What were kind of your big takeaways from the first weekend?
Yeah, so obviously first night was we were a little timid at the plate. We were letting them drop too many fastballs in there. But as the weekend went on, I felt we got a lot more aggressive and started to do similar stuff to what we were doing in the inter squads for these last few weeks, which was ambushing fastballs and obviously staying on those breakers. I think we did a really good job this Sunday. Just the key hits are going to come. We know that, and we got to just keep trusting the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, to go into that a little bit more, do you guys feel like you're being patient, that you know it's going to come, and still being early in the season here, there's no reason to kind of stress out about it?
Yeah, no reason to stress out as long as we keep putting together quality at bats and each guy keeps pulling for each other. I think we're going to be in a really good spot in a couple weeks, maybe even pick it up this weekend.
Jacob.
Outside of the ninth inning on Friday night, the pitching staff allowed only 2 runs this weekend. I'm curious from your perspective what it was like to play behind them and just kind of what your thoughts on all of their performance was throughout the weekend.
Yeah, first off, these pitchers did a great job preparing our team for this season. I think we faced the best staff in the Pac-12 this whole fall and the beginning of the spring. So that's just going to benefit us more in the long run. And what I like about this staff is that we got a lot of strike throwers. We got a lot of guys who love to compete. And I think we're going to do really well from a pitching standpoint once the tough games come down at the end of the line.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we got Eric Coleman here. Questions? Jacob.
Eric, your changeup was really working today. I'm just curious kind of what work you put into that over the offseason and kind of where you feel like that pitch is at for you because it looked great this afternoon.
Yeah, so the last 6 months or during quarantine, that was the big part of my pitching. I was trying to get better, and my changeup today was really good. And I think it's because for the last 6 months I've been working on it every time playing catch, and today it showed.
Kevin.
Going off that, today you did a very good job changing speeds. Is there a certain way you like sequencing your fastball and off-speed pitches?
I think you're gonna have to talk to JK about that because he calls our pitches for us.
Jacob.
Eric, as far as you looked today like you were a little more slider heavy than you were curveball in the past. Was that kind of a conversation you and JK had over the offseason about moving in that direction a little more?
Yeah, I think my slider, a harder pitch off my fastball, will be more deceptive for hitters, and having that slider instead of the curveball will be harder to hit.
Yeah.
When you think of what the staff did as a whole this weekend, this is kind of what you guys were billed to be, but you came out and did it, really effectively right from the start. What does that bode for the rest of the season, do you think, to have this kind of opening weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I think our staff, bullpen, starters, I think we're going to be very strong. And it's going to be really hard to score runs off of us. And as it showed this past weekend, and we're going to do really well attacking hitters and getting them out.
Jacob.
What's kind of the mentality for the pitching staff when you're in back-to-back-to-back games where it's very few runs, it's not a big score gap for the whole game? What's kind of the approach when that's the situation?
I don't think it changes our mindset. It stays the same. Whenever any of us go out there, we're going to try to attack and get every single hitter out. And as long as we throw strikes and hit our spots and do what JK tells us, we're going to be very competitive.
Anyone else?
Cool. Thank you.